Hi everyone, this is Debbie from Project 39 Mini Albums. As part of our paper stash smash, we are smashing our 6x6 paper pads that we have in our stash. So I have had B's paper pad from the Paper Studio. It says it's dated 2021, but I have gotten it more recently. I don't know when, but I've had it. And I've been stuck on it because there's no ephemera. I decided that I wasn't going to let that keep me from making a mini album and thought, okay, I'm going to take that 6.5 by 6.5 mini album tutorial that I already have on my channel. There's already cutting guide in the Kofi shop. It's, I'm halfway there. But in order to get some ephemera and cutaparts and words, I went into Canva and printed some. Now, I would share it in my Kofi shop, but it really is pretty simple. I mean, I just took images of bees and printed it out and that kind of thing. And even if you have just stamps, and it doesn't have to be bees, it could be inspirational words or whatever you have. Even flowers would work. So anyhow, I did what I could and I made 2 mini albums using basically this one 6x6 paper pad. Now, it had 60 sheets in it. So I thought I was going to make 2 of each, but after I got into one, I used like 3 of the paper and there's only 3 of each design. So I had to make 2 different ones. I'm going to show you my process. I mean, basically the mini album was made. When I make mini albums, I'll make a couple. And so I have, I have basically a clean slate. Pretty much I just had the pages. This one, I was going to make my second mini album. So here I've got, it's ready for another paper collection. So I'm going to go through my stash and see what I can use to put in here. But, so I made 2 mini albums. I just changed that tutorial a little bit. Just used some of the features, but not all. Let me show you my process and how I made it. And then I'll do a walkthrough at the end of actually both of these mini albums using the Paper Studio bees, which is such a pretty collection. Let me show you what I started with though, so you see I had more than just the 6x6 pad. All right, so what I'm working with is a 6x6 paper pad from the Paper Studio, which is Hobby Lobby. It is 20 sheets of 3 designs. 20 designs, 3 sheets. I said that wrong. Now, to supplement that, I also have this 8.5 by 11 paper that I also picked up from Hobby Lobby. So I guess I thought it would match perfectly. And as you see, it's got the toile, is that how you say it? It's got that look. The colors aren't exactly right, but you know what? It's close enough. So again, that sort of reinforces the fact that I'll do 2 mini albums that are the same. And then I also have this vellum, which I thought was gorgeous. Isn't that pretty, vellum? And I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do with that, but I'm sure I'm going to use it. Because the first thing I'll have to do is try to take off the sticker. But I'll get to that. And then finally I went through my stash. You know when you're in the store and you say, oh, I've got 1,000,000 single sheets cardstock to match that. And then you get home and you're like, nothing I have matches it. I mean, this blue is a dark navy blue, and I thought I had dark navy blue, but that's just a navy blue. It looks fine with this, but when you put it next to this, it's obviously not the same color at all. I have 1 sheet of this, which would match that. So at least I have some that will work. And I had this one, it's from a baby boy collection. This is actually called Gold. The navy is perfect, almost perfect. Maybe a little too dark. But the gold is nice. But again, that's all I have, and to stretch that between 2 mini albums is going to be a challenge, but I am going to make it happen. All right, so we're going to add some features to the book. First thing I did is took some of the scraps that I got when I was cutting out the paper to make the pages. And out of that, I got 4 3/4 by 6 1/4. I cut it down to 4 3/4 by 6 1/4 and scored it with the 4 3/4 at the top at 1/2 inch. So that'll go on the left side of all 5 pages in the book. I'm working 2 books at once. When I cut it first, it was 4 7/8. So, you know, sometimes this paper is not, it says it's 8.5 by 11. It might be 8 3/4 by 11 1/8. I mean, it's just not perfect. Then I cut down some fresh paper because I wanted to get the most out of the paper. And I cut it down 3 inches by 6 1/4. And I scored it with the 3-inch side at the top at 1/2 inch. What I want to do is every other page is going to have one of these flaps. How many did I cut total? 1, 2, 6. So we'll put 3 in each book. So page 1, page 3, and page 5. And this is going to go on the right-hand side because I don't know if you see it, but what we're going to do is cover the page with a flap and then put a magnet. All right, so page 1, 3, and 5. You may notice I did not miter the corners. Being lazy because, so I did not have any ephemera to go with this collection, and there's no cutaparts or anything to go with it. So I spent all morning on Canva making some like journaling cards. And so now I'm trying to get going. I was hoping to get a lot of this done today. All right, this is page 5. Alrighty, so 1, 3, and 5, and then I'll do that one. Let me show you what I made. So this, again, I made on Canva. It was a little tricky trying to match the colors, but that's what I did. So I have them in both orientations. This one says be happy. That one says enjoy the moment, sweet as can be, wild and free. Why I did several in the landscape orientation, I don't know, because generally I like the portrait orientation. So for that, there's the be happy, there's the be, and there's the be kind. And then, because I had room on the bottom, I made these. It says, be you, sweet as honey, be yourself. I mean, that's about all the be references I could come up with. And then to go on the back, I made sort of journaling cards to write on. I just added lines. Here's room to write here. Here's some lines, some dotted lines. So I just, like I said, did what I could, and just some room to journal. I just left that one blank. So anyhow, I will, are these all in the same orientation? No, boy, I did that wrong. Because like this one, this would correspond with that, and that's in that orientation. So I'll put this one there. Yeah, it'll work. I'll make it work. And I don't have to do this. I could put plain paper on it. So for those, I did cut some cutaparts. So for the one that, or landscape orientation, I cut them at 4 3/4 by 3 5/8. So that way I will score this with a 4 3/4 side at the top at 1/2 inch. Put this over, and I'll cut this apart and see how it fits. It looks a little bit too tall, but I'll cut it and we'll see. And some of these I will put on page 2 and 4. I have way more cutaparts, so I'll put that on the right hand side of the page. I just want to make sure the size is right, and then I'll show you where we are. All right, let me give you those sizes again. So for the landscape orientation cut apart, it's 4 5/8 by 3 1/8. Here's the crazy thing. So I know I cut the pages a 1/4 inch bigger, and here I'm just doing 1/8 of an inch. I had this problem with the last one. I just put it in sometimes and it just doesn't look good once I put the embellishments or whatever on there. it looks like there's a lot of room. You know what it could be? When I'm printing this, it may, let's see, is this actually 3? No, it's a little bit less than 3, and I think that's part of the issue. If you have full-size cut-aparts, you might do 1/4 of an inch bigger. I mean, just base it on the size of your cut-aparts. Anyhow, so I have 4 5/8 by 3 1/8. With the 4 5/8 side at the top, I scored it 1/2 inch. I put that on the right side of page 2, and then on the right side of page 4, it's 3 5/8 by 4 1/8. Yeah, that fits. And then with the 3 5/8 side, I put this. So now what I'm going to do is just start pulling out the paper. And you know what's cool is this paper actually has a little texture to it. And it's all like, the first 3 pages are this one pattern. I put this in the middle. That goes somewhere. So I am going to just pull these out, try to figure out where I'm going to put it, and just go through and gently tack it down with my ATG and go from there. Okay, so for the cover of the book, I cut some blue cardstock, 6 3/8 by 6 3/8. The cover, of course, is 6 1/2 by 6 1/2. But if you'll notice, this blue and that blue are totally different. This is more of a, I don't know if the color shows on the camera real well, but it's more of a navy blue. And so to tone this down, I am taking some Cobalt Ranger Archival ink. It still has a little more purple in it that I want, but I don't have anything darker. So I'm just going to go around the edge and ink it, just to, again, tone it down and make it less of a, I don't know, what color would you call this? Blue prize ribbon, I think, was one of the colors. Anyhow, I'm going to tone it down, and then I'll show you what I end up with. All right, so my plan did not go, it did not work what was in my head. So I haven't put an element on the cover. I have this, but I don't know. I don't know, but let me show you the inside and then we can decide. So in the front inside cover, I've got a large pocket with a flap, and I have a couple of journaling cards in there. Then here we go with that. Still room to put photos. And then there are hidden pocket pages inside all of the pockets. The hidden pockets I made probably a little too small. These are 5 1/2 by 6 1/4. Probably could have gone 6 by 6, or 6 1/4, 6 by 6 1/4, but I didn't. All right, so room to put a small photo here. Here's a flap. Room to put a photo. Oh, I think I meant to put a element here. I'll see what I can dig up. Photo mat. I love that. Enjoy the moment. Oh, that opens that way. And there's that. And then I fussy cut a bit of the vellum. Yeah, there's that in there. Here's this page. Be kind. That's just a tuck spot. Be happy. I covered some vellum, layered it on some white cardstock and made that into a pocket. And then there is a large place for a photo. And actually I left these open. When I'm all done, I might see what else I can put in, see if I can add some tags. And then room to put a photo. I might put 2 small photo mats here. I have to think about that. And then there's the back. So now for this one, I didn't have as much paper left over as I thought I would. I do have the covers because I had made those in advance. And then all I did was lay paper that coordinated in the pages. So for instance here, this coordinated as much as I could get it to coordinate. I have this. So I could do a flap and put this on the back, or I could make this into a photo mat. I might do that because I love this pattern. And that's a nice background for it because it doesn't match, it doesn't jive. But I could make that into, I think that's what I'll do. This will be a very simple book. And then here, same thing here. I could do this and make a photo mat on top of there because these are the same colors. What do I got here? So on this one I have 5 pieces of paper. Whoops. I never used this for the other book. So do I do this and do flaps at the end? I don't know. I could do a flap because I'll have 2 of these. I could do a flap and then a photo mat. And here I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I could do those on the pages and photo mat. Photo mat? I don't know. Maybe this one's left out. And then here, I have that. Sorry, it's my Etsy going crazy. And then I have that. I'm going to put it in my drawer. Photo mat, and then I have 3 pieces left over. So I could do a flap with a pocket. I certainly could do, not a photo mat then. Maybe I'll use this somewhere else. Oh, this could be on the inside. Here we go. This is in the inside of a pocket. This is a smaller piece that could be a flap. This could be a pocket. This could be the other side of the flap. And that could be a photo mat. So let me put it all together and I'll show you what I end up with. All right, I am showing you my messy desk. This is, well, this is not all because there is also this. These are the scraps left, which is a lot. I usually don't have this many scraps left. So I'm going to have to do something with these. Make some cards is probably what I will do. There's that as well. So I will, make cards. I have some cut-aparts left. I had a lot of fun using my Canva. These were just images in Canva. I really didn't do anything to them, and I like them better than the cut-aparts that I made, I think. I don't know. So I'm going to keep these because these will be nice accents on my cards. So I'm going to just put this all together and make a little, I need to make some sentiments, so I will get my stamps out and do something with that. But let me show you the mini albums that I made. Okay, so I made 2. This one is very simple. I'll show you this first. The cover has, this is the vellum. I dotted it around the corners and where this is going to cover. Just very simple. Very, very simple. I could have added something like this to the side, but I felt like the colors weren't right. I wasn't going to print anymore, and I think it just was too busy. And then inside, I've got lots of photo mats. I do have pockets, but I didn't have enough paper to cover, not pockets, mats, but I didn't have enough paper to cover that. I love this paper. This was a lot of fun. So I found some really detailed black on white drawings that I changed the color, trying to make it match with that color. This, I just found a couple of flowers. This is vellum. I did put some white cardstock underneath the vellum. It's interesting, but you put a picture on, you're going to cover it. And there's the back page. Of course, there's 5 signatures. There's no flaps. There's no pockets on these pages. They're very simple. I did make a pocket here. I guess I could take some of my extras and add things to the pocket. So I will do that. Did you notice though these, see, I don't want these. There are no words in this book. No be happy, no be yourself, no be kind, nothing. It's just be quiet. This one is the be yourself. This is raised up. You can't see that. I added one of the line drawings there. Not sure I really like that, but it is what it is. Be you. And journaling cards in here. There's that. And now here on the hidden photo mats, they are completely lined with paper. So there's a bee house and a frame. Wild and free, sweet as can be. I'm not sure I like that on the back, but it is there. And this, I feel like that needs something. Maybe that's where this guy can go. Would you rather put that there or that? I think this, because it takes up the space. And I couldn't see using this in a card. If I put that there, we'll put it like that. There's the bee circle, which you still could put a picture in there, cut it circular. There's my favorite, that's the vellum. There's our photo mat, or, yeah. This is open, but that's a mat. I just inked around it. There's that. There's that. This is a tuck spot. Be happy. That's the vellum. That's the vellum pocket. And there's the last page. I was going to put something here, but I used all the paper, so no, nothing. So that's what you get when you have paper collection and you don't have any embellishments to match. I think they came out okay. They're not my favorite, but I do like the colors. So there is that. And I have lots of these extra embellishments that I can make a card or a bunch of cards. And I'm going to just put this away, to be honest with you. I'm going to take this with me when I go on vacation, and this will be a fun little project to do. So that's what I wanted to show you today. I hope you enjoyed this little process video and sort of a little bit of how I think about things. And that's what I have. I hope you enjoyed this. Hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe, and have a fabulous day.